Welcome to Pikes Peak Association of Realtors Public Policy Two Things. My name is Reatha Butler. I am the chair, Debbie Howes, the co-chair, and we're here today with Daniel Rodriguez of Keller Williams Partners. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today on these two things. We just had a general meeting, which we meet on the second Monday of every month, but we just had a general meeting. What were some of your takeaways during that meeting?
Yeah, so I think the first takeaway is, the first thing that really stood out to me was the funding of police and law enforcement. The reason why is because, as realtors, we're always out there in the marketplace, we're always showing properties, and safety it goes a long way. And we've all heard stories, tragic stories about realtors that have had very violent experiences, and some of that have even lost their life out in the marketplace as well. So I think that with the funding and the recruitment of more law enforcement on the street, it makes a better environment for the realtor to be able to do their job and do it effectively.
Now, do you ever use Forewarn or any other tools that the association provides to us?
Yes, I use Forewarn all the time.
Okay.
And I also highly recommend that newer agents and female agents as well get on the Forewarn. And it's a free service provided through PPAR, and it can really save your life.
Yeah. I've used it. I was just amazed. Anything else you took away from today's meeting that may be helpful for the realtor brand out there?
Yeah, so I would say the other one was the mishandling of government funds. And I say that because that is really the core of all the issues that go on. It's always the money, it's always the funding of the government. And if that can be utilized in an effective way, we probably wouldn't have as much problems as we do now. For example, we have inflation's through the roof, the interest rates are higher than they have been in the last 22 years, and housing affordability is a really big issue for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And because of all that, a lot of people are getting pushed out of the marketplace. So once we can figure out once they can figure out how to handle those funds correctly, and more efficiently and more effectively, then we're able to be put in a position where we can put people in homes.
I love it. It helps our consumers overall. So one of the things that I picked out was this California independent contractor issue. Did you pick that up in the meeting, what they were talking about?
Yes. So it seems like what they're trying to do is they want to take away their independency and put them to be employees.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the power that we have is we are independent contractors. So I thought that was interesting so that we can begin to push or be aware of what's happening in other places. This is the West Coast. So California did not pass that. So they are still independent contractors. They still advocate for independent contractor status there, but we need to be on the alert to make sure that doesn't come to hit us here in our own community. One of the things that I would like to talk about is construction defect. That came up a couple of times, and that is tied to attainability and affordability. You have any insights on construction defect and what you think about it?
I think it all starts from the top. I think that once leadership, national leadership can kind of get things together and figure things out, it's going to come from the top down.
Okay.
And then everything will be able to run much more smoothly.
Yeah. I think that it's going to have to be a high level conversation in the legislative arena, like they're going to do in 2024. I'm expecting that. But it's going to have to be a high level conversation in the legislative arena. This construction defect is this impairment to start building in entry-level homes, condos and townhomes for entry-level people, consumers, is hampering affordability and attainability for a lot of people. So that is something that I would love for realtors to keep their eyes on. Make sure that we are not just throwing the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to the construction defect issue. We just really need to address that. And we talked about advocacy in a climate where people are really coming down on real estate agents per se. How do we get realtors to start standing up and really advocating and showing what we're worth in the marketplace? How do we start doing that, in your opinion?
Well, the first thing I can think of is everyone's on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone that has business or is in business is online. Your reputation is everything. So your online presence says a lot about you. What you put out there is essentially who you are, but you have to be very careful on what you're putting out there. It takes a lifetime to build a good reputation, but it takes just a second to ruin it. And I really believe that. And as realtors in the front lines, we're always out there, we're always in the public, we're always out there in the marketplace. And that's something that we need to be very cognitive of.
Be very cognizant. I love that. The intentionality that I've seen people get caught up in mastermind groups where they're being very, very open and verbal about their thought processes and things like that. That is something that we really need to tamper down a little bit, because those environments do get scrutinized by the consumers. They get scrutinized by officials in terms of, what are realtors really saying about compensation? What are realtors really saying about their consumers? And because we have a higher standard here as a realtor brand, we want to make sure that we're very intentional in social media. Like you said, if you have a business, you are likely doing it on that digital platform. Be very, very intentional about what you're writing and making sure you're not getting into squabbles in writing with people on the other side. There's a lot to that. But we want to just promote more advocacy than more of a defensive stance. Advocate for the realtor brand. It is standing in alignment with you. It's standing there to support you. So we don't want you to forget that. Daniel, you have anything else to say about the realtor brand or things that we can do as day-to-day realtors in our business to step it up and get us out there?
I would say just take it serious. Just like any other professional, doctors, lawyers, whatever the case is, they take their job very serious, and I don't think that the realtor should look at it any differently.
I love that. On that note, we are going to call it a day. Our next meeting will not be meeting in October, but we will be meeting November 13th in the main level at the Pikes Peak Association Realtors building. You are more than welcome to come. We do have committees and cocktails on October 6th. You should be starting to see communications on that. If you're interested in becoming a part of the conversation, this is a great place to do it for public policy, but there's going to be open invitations to all the committees that are available to you through the association. We thank you very much for joining us on these two things, and take care.